Hello, welcome to Sixth Sense Snakes. This is Nathan, but in today's video you're going to see mostly Snake Mama Amanda. This weekend we had some friends over that had never been around snakes very much before, and Amanda sat down with Missy to have a conversation. I have edited it for time, and it's going to play after this, so thank you so much for tuning in. Find us on all of our social media platforms. This week, we got a brand new logo, so you'll see that as well. Before you get to Amanda and Missy's interview, go over to Patreon. You can find us on there. Search by name Sixth Sense Snakes. You'll see the new logo there and some behind-the-scenes videos. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy this conversation about snakes between Snake Mama and her friend Missy.
Hey guys, this is Amanda here in the snake pit, and I am here with my good friend Missy today, and we are here chatting about our snake, asking questions, and so we are gonna get you guys in on the conversation we're having today. So we were talking because Missy has not been around snakes a whole lot.
No,
huh?
This is my first time.
It's her first time, and when she got here, we just opened all of the drawers and look, these are our snakes. We were just sitting here and we were talking about our feeding process of our snakes.
I still have questions.
Questions, ask away.
So some eat frozen.
Yes.
And then some eat live.
Yes.
So when you take your tongs.
Yes. We have our feeding tongs here that we use for our frozen thawed ones. We thaw them out, we put them in the bathtub, get them in hot water, get them to the right temperature. Typically what we also have to do is once they're fully thawed, we grab our handy dandy hair dryer and we blow them dry. Blow them dry. We get them all fluffed up. We make sure that their heads are the right temperature and that their bodies are also at the right temperature. So their temperature on their heads have to be around 110, 105, depending on the snake. Their bodies between 80, 90-ish. And then you get your nice little tongues here and you grab them by the scruff and you dance them around in front of them. Typically, as I'm doing their hair dryer, I do it in front of wherever their enclosure is. So if I am doing the racks, I'll hold the plate with the rat on there and blow dry into there to kind of get their feeding mode ready to go.
I'm just picturing right now, like as you're hair drying, like you're taking a little comb.
Right. And the ones who have tops to them, we put the rat right on the top of it. And we blow it dry in there, and it kind of gets them sparked and ready to go. Typically, they snatch it right up, and you let go.
And they're done.
There are a few. So Sydney only likes to eat if you play rat sounds on YouTube. So you have to dangle it in front of her while holding your phone, having rat sounds pointing to her. She will not eat. I tried it the other day without them, and she looked at it like, nope, not going to do it. As soon as the rat sounds came on, within a couple seconds, she grabbed that sucker. And then the live ones, Nathan does the live feeding ones because I don't like touching rat tails.
No, I don't think I would do that.
He'll grab them by the tail and you just drop them in, close the drawer, and all of a sudden you hear whoop, and they've got the rat.
Now, do they have snacks at all?
If we have a snake that decided they didn't want to eat and it was a smaller one, we'll give it to one of our bigger snakes as a little snack, but it's typically only if we can't get one to eat, so then we're not wasting something, because otherwise we'll just have rats all over. 'Cause sometimes they don't always want to eat. You don't know until you dangle the rat in front of them if they actually want to eat it. So sometimes you end up with an extra rat or two and you just throw it away, because once you've thawed them, you cannot refreeze them. So it's the feeding process is a whole interesting thing that I decided to try the other day by myself, and I got a good bit of them done, but yeah, it definitely took a little bit.
How long does it take?
I feel like I can do it faster than Nathan. I don't know what I do. I get the water thawed faster somehow. I make the water super, super hot. And I've discovered the best way for me to do it is when I put the first batch of water in, I let it get hot, and then when I notice it's getting cool, I drain the entire thing, and then I fill it back up with hot water again. So I think that kind of helps thaw them out faster. And the whole process, I fed 8 snakes the other day, and it maybe took me an hour and a half. Okay. Like we said, the frozens or just take longer because you have to thaw them, you have to dry them, you have to do that whole process, and so it makes them take a little bit longer.
I did not know there were so many specific snake things.
Yes.
Like the temperature of the food and the rats and the water and all that stuff.
You know, rats come in all different colors. They all look different. So there are some that are all white. There are some that are white and black. There are some that are all gray. I pulled out an albino rat the other day and nobody wanted it. We had read recently that sometimes the snakes don't take to the albino rat. There's something different about them. And I tried 4 different snakes that are typically really good eaters and nobody wanted that rat. So we had to toss it. Some of them are very picky and some of them, their temperature of the rat has to be much hotter than others. It's just kind of a learning curve with each one, trying to figure it all out.
So you have like little notes on there just so you know like which ones will eat frozen, which ones
Yes,
won't.
so we do. Those of you out there who have snakes, a really great tool to have is these liquid chalk and dry erase markers. They are perfect on your tanks, on your ARS drawers. They are really awesome, and we have a color coding system now. So we have different colors for different things. We mark when we change their water. We mark when we've had snakes that have locked that we're breeding, and we mark when they've eaten. So we mark with a certain color of what day they've eaten and then what they've eaten. So whether they've eaten live or whether they eat frozen thawed that day. So then we know, and any of them will eat live, but we like to mark what we've given them recently just so that we know who really likes the live better than the frozen thawed, because some of them do have very particular tastes. What is your background with snakes, Missy? Have you been around any before?
No, I don't think I've been around any snakes.
Okay.
I think this is the first time I've been around this many snakes.
So do you think it's based on a fear of snakes, or you just weren't exposed, or what do you think?
I just wasn't exposed.
Okay.
I mean, the normal backyard snake might appear.
Right.
And then I saw one time, and I it gave me a little anxiety.
Yeah.
So this is interesting, being surrounded by all of these snakes.
By all these snakes.
It's like snakes on a plane.
Yes.
And they can just like slither out and like come get me and.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's really cool about our racks and our drawers. You know, they really can't get out. All of our our aquariums that we have, our tanks, they're all on a lock system, which is really nice. They all lock one way or another. So I definitely had some fears at first. I don't know how many of you have known this, if we've mentioned this on the YouTube video, but we're in our bedroom. Snakes are nocturnal animals, so we have 4 that are very active at night, and so it definitely gives you some anxiety knowing that you're sleeping in a room full of snakes. But have you become curious now that you've learned more about this?
Yes, because I didn't realize there was so much to know.
Yeah.
And I love learning something new, so now I feel like I'm taking this knowledge with me.
Yes.
Because this is fascinating. Like,
Yeah.
I really had no clue.
Would you be comfortable if I took one out while you were sitting
Okay,
here?
you hold
I
it,
can hold it.
and I'll like touch
And you
it.
can say hello to it. Yeah, let's do it. This is our little one, Happy. I think we have shown her at least in pictures before. She is our rescue snake that we got out of the pet store. She was so tiny, very dehydrated, very malnourished. Most likely taken from her hatchling tank too early. She was just so small. She had a little bit of scale rot, so we had to do some of the betadine soaks with her, and she has shed twice since we've had her, and that scale rot is gone. The betadine soaks really helped with that. She is a great eater, so she is growing very well. She is our friendliest. She is the one that if you watched our most recent video, you saw Nathan's mom holding her. She's very reluctant on these guys, but she was ready to go and ready to hold this one. She's tiny, so she wraps. If we move her just right, she latches with her tail. She wraps her tail. She's wrapped around my finger right now. And if she moves, she'll tighten down there.
She matches your bracelet.
She does. Yeah. She does. She'll curl up. Yesterday we had Adeline holding her, and she was wrapped around her wrist pretty good. She is hands down our friendliest. And she's super soft.
Yeah, she is.
She's one of our softest because she's so tiny.
She's very soft.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like leather.
And as you see, she just sits here. Typically what you want to see from them are those long tongue flicks where their whole tongue is basically coming out of their mouth. That's how they smell. So they're smelling around. Long tongue flicks are what you want to see, that nice friendly, hello, I'm checking you out.
How do you know if she's uncomfortable?
So typically when you take them out, if they're uncomfortable, they'll bawl. They feel really tense.
She's like hiding under there.
Yeah.
So this is how you know when they're tense. She hissed a little, but every time you handle your snake, even if you started taking them out and they've hissed and they're tense, you want to end on a good note. So you take them out anyways. And you try to get them to loosen up a little bit with you so that they know that you're not a predator. They know that you're not going to hurt them and that they're okay with you. So you try to handle them, you try to get them calmed down. So she's going to stretch up a little bit. So this is kind of how you know when they're tense. So she feels tight. She's kind of in the ball. But now she's going to be like, oh, okay, I'm good. And I can stretch out and I can explore a little bit.
So that was more of like a defensive thing. And
yeah.
She was like, I don't know what's going on.
She's more defensive.
But now I do.
But
okay.
Now she's like, no, I'm okay.
I was like,
yeah, no, so I haven't gotten bait yet. It'll happen one day. I try to avoid it. Nathan's a little more, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens than I am. Their bites are not super bad. So their teeth are very small. They are sharp, but they're not big. So we have people that we've talked to that are diabetic, and they do the finger stick to check their blood sugar, and they say that actually hurts more than being bit by a snake because they're very, very small. They're just and oftentimes if you get bit and you're not paying attention, you don't know you've gotten bit until you look down and you're like, oh, I'm bleeding because that snake bit me. It's typically very quick. They don't latch on. They just do a quick little, hey, get off, and let go, and you're like, oh, okay. But even after we've been bit, Nathan's been bit, he still tries to end on a good note with them. It's not throw them right back in their tank. It's settle down, everything's okay. Let's get you in nicely and know that you're okay. So she's starting to explore a little bit. She's going to dip her head down and check out her surroundings. She's got those nice long tongue flicks. So she's realizing, hey, I'm okay where I'm at. This is a very typical response when you first hold them, especially when you're holding one with two hands, for them to look down first. And then they're like, oh, okay, I'm good. So she's realizing my fingers are okay, they're safe.
And so her eyes will turn blue when she's ready to shed.
Yes. So they get really like a cloudy blue color. Almost looks like they're blind with their eyes. They get very cloudy. And at that point, you have to check to make sure their humidity in their enclosure is upwards of 80-90%. You want to make sure that it's nice and humid in there so that they can get their shed done proper. So they'll get their eyes change colors, and then within the next week or so after that, you'll typically find a shed in there. And sometimes you have ones that have incomplete sheds. So we have one that shed in a bunch of different pieces. Typically you'll get one really good long piece, and then it's always interesting too. Some people keep them so they can track the progression of the growth of their snake as well, to see how they grow as they're shedding.
She's just hanging out.
She's realized everything is okay now. So, if you guys watched our last YouTube video, you saw a picture of me like this with a snake. This is Heinz. She's my buddy. She confuses everybody because her name is Heinz, but she is a girl. She's part of our Pittsburgh breeding project. Probably super hard to see on the camera, but maybe she's facing that direction right now. She came to us and she had an unknown injury to her eye. One of her eyes is missing.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know if it's missing, if it's just blind, but you can kind of see if you take a quick little gander. So on this particular eye, she is missing her right one, but she's got her left one. She's very adventurous today. There. So that one is missing, but this one is good. So then you can kind of get a see and feel some of them, whether it's a shed that happens and the scales just don't come off, or whether it was an injury. We don't know how old she is. She came to us from a breeder. She is almost breedable size. She is a banana super vanilla. And she is going to breed with our newest snake, who is a cypress. And she's going to give us really pretty babies.
Definitely adventurous today.
She is.
I feel like I got this. Like,
Yeah.
I understand. I don't know if I would be a good snake mom, because I would mess up the temperature.
There's a learning curve for sure.
I would definitely mess up their temperature.
We're still getting that. So yeah, one of the things they have to have in their enclosure is a warm side and a cold side. And the cold side we've got down. The warm side can be tricky, especially when you have racks like these where you have multiple in a rack, because sometimes you'll have a temperature variance where the top is one temperature. Now that they're all on carpet, we've noticed the bottom can get really warm. So we have to really monitor that, make sure we're getting that temperature right. Govee are what we recommend if you are looking for thermometers. They are the best. They're square little digital Bluetooth thermometers. Stick those in there. You can buy them right on Amazon. They're perfect to have. We love them. We connect right to our phone so we can take a look and make sure everybody's temperatures in the right spot. So if you're looking for a thermometer, Govee Bluetooth thermometers are what you want to go for sure. So do you have any other questions?
No, I think this is great that you're educating
Yeah.
people, because, like I said, I started from ground zero, and now I have a whole newfound
Now you're
knowledge of snakes.
And you're in a room full of snakes now.
I am in a room full of snakes.
Yeah.
And I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
it was great chatting with you.
This
And
was fun.
for those of you watching, make sure to like the video, comment if you have questions for us. Make sure you go to Facebook, YouTube. But your biggest place you want to go is Patreon. Make sure you head over there. You're going to want to subscribe. There's different tiers. Each tier is going to have different special things that pop up on there. So if you want some inside videos, inside pictures, inside tips, you're going to want to subscribe to our first level. There are all sorts of different levels. Head on over there to Patreon and check us out. That link will be in the bio. So head on over there, check that out. Check YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all the things. We're everywhere. So it was great chatting with you guys today, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.